Empire Television, Kern County In Depth with 17's Jim Scott.
Welcome. Good to have you with us this weekend. The new numbers on homelessness in Kern County are in, and they're up, way up. But in this case, numbers can be somewhat deceiving, and you'll find out why. According to the Kern County Homeless Collaborative, the number of homeless people counted in January's point-in-time 24-hour census is 50% higher than it was a year ago. A discussion on the current scope of homelessness is on the plate today. 17's Aton Wallace helps us set the table.
Thank you. God bless you too, okay?
Rick Montels lives on the streets of Bakersfield.
My sign says, "Can you spare some change, please? Thank you."
The former handyman says 2 strokes left him unable to work, and that led him here, begging for food, water, and money at the intersection of Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard and Brundage Lane.
As far as me now, you know, this is it, bro. You know, I mean, this is how I eat. You know, this is how I clothe myself. This is how I bathe.
Montels is not alone. Volunteers with the Kern County Homeless Collaborative counted 1,330 homeless people during this year's point-in-time homeless count on January 30th. Jessica Jansen is the Homelessness Projects Manager for the United Way of Kern County. She helped organize and lead the count.
It is undeniable that homelessness has become more visible in every corner of our city and county, so this increase has been anticipated.
Anticipated in part, she says, because this year there were significantly more people who volunteered to help count the homeless, some 49% more than last year.
We knew that we were having so many more volunteers than we normally do, and there's a direct correlation between the number of volunteers and the number of people that you're able to encounter in that short window of time where we're conducting the count.
Of the 1,330 counted homeless, 16% are families with children, another 10% are veterans, and 8% are between 18 to 24 years old. Meantime, this man says he'll never give up.
I long to do better. You know what I mean? I would like to, you know, have a nice place to stay. You know what I mean?
What do you want the general public to know about homeless people like yourself?
They're people. You know what I mean? They're homeless. They don't have no place to stay for whatever reason, whatever, you know, happened in their background. But they are people.
So let's go a little deeper into the data. The census shows us that 80% of Kern County's homeless population is in Bakersfield, 20% found in rural cities. 44% of the homeless in Bakersfield had shelter on the night of the count. 56% did not. Homelessness in Bakersfield rose by 42% over last year, underscored by a 108% jump in the number of people who didn't have shelter. The combined occupancy rate at Bakersfield's 2 emergency shelters for the homeless, 96%. Now, in metropolitan Bakersfield, of the 643 unsheltered people counted in this census, the highest concentration found in southeast Bakersfield. There were also large concentrations of homeless in central and southwest Bakersfield, as well as Oildale. Of the 162 unsheltered people counted outside Bakersfield, 67% counted in western Kern, 33% in east Kern. Now, we find veterans accounted for roughly 10% of the homeless adult population, as Aton mentioned. That's down from a high of 14% in 2011. Half of them had shelter. 15% of the adult homeless population is described as chronically homeless, homeless for more than a year. And nearly 70% were unsheltered. And here's another telling statistic. Nearly a third of all homeless adults counted in this census reported a history of treatment or hospitalization for a serious mental illness. A stunning 62% of them unsheltered as of this census. Joining me now, Jessica Jansen, Homeless Projects Manager for the United Way of Kern County, Carlos Baldovinos, Executive Director of the Mission at Kern, and Lewis Gill, Executive Director of the Bakersfield Homeless Center. Welcome, panel. Good to have you here.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for having us.
Lots to digest, not a lot of time. So let me start by asking each of you, what is your biggest takeaway from this census? And let me start with you, Carlos.
There's been an increase, obviously, and there's a crisis on hand. And I believe now it's an opportunity to do even more.
Jessica?
What we saw was an increase in homelessness and also an increase in volunteers. And that increase in volunteers really got us the best data we've ever had.
Lewis?
At 118% increase in unsheltered individuals, we realize that we're maximizing the shelters we have, and we're going to have to do something for folks that don't have an option.
Are all of you in agreement that the dramatic rise in the homeless population count from this census can't be exclusively attributed to the number of volunteers? I mean, we've known that there were more people out there that just haven't been counted in past censuses, right?
All of us have been seeing increased pressure for our emergency services. So if you talk to any of the partner agencies, I know at the Homeless Center we've seen a 13% increase in those sheltered, a 20% increase in meals provided, and a 400% increase in permanent housing placement. So the demand, we've been watching it grow.
So if there's any good news out of this census, you mentioned it, is that you have a clearer picture now of the scope of the problem?
Yes.
Okay, we can all agree on that. And I think another positive is fewer veterans were counted among the homeless population, down from 14% a high in 2011. So you've had time to digest this data a little bit. Where does this data now lead you in terms of focusing your energy in 2019?
You know, Jim, for example, you know, at the mission at Kern County, we're adding 40 emergency shelter beds here in the near future. I mean, this is a great partnership that we've had with the state and the city to increase capacity. This is something that we've been working on with our collaborative partners for nearly 8 months. So we knew that these numbers were potentially going to be like this. We knew that. But the ball's been rolling for quite some time now. And I'm excited about there are solutions ahead.
All right, let me ask you this. The data shows that roughly 17% of the homeless people counted in this census were homeless before they came to Kern County. Does that statistic in any way support the suspicion that's been held by some for many years that homeless people are being exported to Kern County from other cities?
I think that you have to realize the entire state is dealing with an increase in homelessness. It is true. This is the first time we have data of saying this number of people are reporting they were homeless before they came to Kern County. Now, this is a population that does move from city to city and doesn't necessarily get sent by some other program. Can we rule out that other people aren't being sent by well-intentioned churches or other groups that are saying, look, we'd like to help you reunify with the family? No, we can't rule that out. But we have investigated this multiple times and have yet to find a wholesale effort to send people to our town.
All right. Fair enough. Let me ask, before we go to the break, one more question, and another common misperception, I think, the misperception is that a lot of people who live on the streets of Bakersfield are there by their own choice, and that that's the way they prefer to live, and they don't want to live in shelters. Can you cast some cold water on that misperception? I mean, that is not true in most cases, is it?
No, not in most cases at all. What we see is that people who are living on the streets, people who are living unsheltered, it takes about 17 separate engagements with them to get them to accept services, to trust you, to believe that the possibility of another solution is feasible for them. So when you hear people saying that they don't want help, that's not true. Our goal is to just continue to make those contacts until they believe that that help is really out there for them.
Okay.
We have to build that trust with that individual. It's all about trust, and I mean we see that with when there's outreach being done. Those persons have to build that trust with you in order to go into services, and that's something that has to be an ongoing effort.
All right, I got to take a break, but when we come back, within our homeless population here in Kern County, of course, there are those individuals who are struggling with mental illness. We'll have details on a push to ramp up efforts to help those individuals get the care and assistance they need and deserve when we come back. You're watching Kern County In Depth.
You can probably guess how this is gonna go. Uncomfortably close close-ups, ingredients defying gravity, melting this, splashing that, charbroiled double deals from Carl's Jr. Oh, $2.49 each?
So, you're looking to buy a car, but just don't have the time to wait and wait and wait. Sangera Subaru's Make Your Own Deal feature has transformed the car buying process. Just go to sangarasubaru.com, pick out your car, get pre-qualified, value your trade, choose your finance option, and never leave your home or office. And during the Subaru A Lot to Love event, lease a 2019 Outback for only $189 per month. And remember, at Sangera Subaru, the best deal is always the deal you make yourself. RVShow pricing remains in effect at Barry's RV on every new and used motorhome, travel trailer, fifth wheel, tent trailer, and camper. You may have missed the RV show, but you don't need to miss the best deals of the year at Barry's RV. Rock bottom show pricing means huge savings. Plus, we have great financing available. Stop by Highway 99 and 7th Standard Road and experience for yourself why Barry's RV is considered the friendliest RV dealer with the highest level of customer satisfaction in the entire state. Barry's RV, where we treat others the way they want to be treated.
Right now at More Furniture. Come in for huge savings on our newest 2019 arrivals. Find the latest in style, the latest in comfort, and the latest in value. As always, our double the difference guarantee means you can shop with confidence. So go on, live with more for less. Find your style at morefurniture.com.
You can probably guess how this is gonna go. Uncomfortably close close-ups, ingredients defying gravity, melting this, splashing that, charbroiled double deals from Carl's Jr.
Oh, $2.49 each?
Welcome back. Joining us now for our panel discussion on this new homeless census count is Bill Walker. He's the Director of Behavioral Health and Recovery Services, formerly known as the Kern County Mental Health Department. Bill, welcome.
Thank you.
Listen, your department is in the process of finalizing contracts and hires to fill out the ranks of your outreach teams to identify the mentally ill on our streets and get them the help they need. Can you just elaborate on that briefly?
I'd be very happy to. And first, I'm really pleased to share this with my colleagues up here. We actually have been in work with the Homeless Collaborative to increase homeless outreach through MHSA dollars. We're looking to put 15 to 20 people.
That's state funding.
Yes, it is, into Bakersfield, the greater Bakersfield, and into each pocket of the county through our clinics in those counties.
And you're now working with nonprofit vendors, though, right? You're collaborating with nonprofits, flood ministries.
That is exactly
in these
correct.
Contracts. Can you just explain a little bit how you're using the nonprofit community to help you reach these people?
Absolutely. First off, these people are the experts. And so Flood Ministries is part of their collaborative. And instead of us trying to create a new program, we have a lot of programs, we're actually funding the money into Flood Ministries and mental health systems so that it'll both provide more outreach and also more coordination. You heard them talk about the number of outreaches that occurs. The mental health system staff, after the Flood Ministry staff find people, will be able to work with their housing and getting them help placed, and then into our services if they need our services, but also through the collaborative, there's often many other times they need other services that they'll help them get to.
And when will you be fully up to speed on this effort?
April 2nd, I believe we go to the Board of Supervisors for our final approval. We have already granted the dollars, and they're getting ready to hire staff. I would imagine within 60 days they'll be on the street.
All right, panel, bringing the mental illness, the mentally ill off the streets presents its own unique set of challenges. These are the most difficult people to reach, are they not? Anybody weigh in on this? Go ahead.
I mean, they are. I mean, we get them at our shelter at the Mission, and it can be very hard to work with. I mean, just because you don't know where they're at. You know, probably off their medications, probably on just, you know, dealing with some things, that getting them stable, that is the first thing that we want to do. Working through them to their next steps, and that stability is the first step for us.
Anybody else with anything to add on?
Mental illness and chemical dependency expressing itself in public makes people uncomfortable. It's hard to watch when people are struggling on that level. And so it's very visible. And those are the people that stand out in our memories. And unfortunately, it then becomes kind of the standard in our mind for folks that are struggling and that don't have homes.
You know, I personally have wondered and see them quite often in the downtown area, a person who's having a conversation with him or herself. They're there, but they're not there. And I've often wondered, I wish there was a phone number that I could call, a hotline that would trigger a mental health intervention to get these people to referral for services. That doesn't exist right now, does it? Except for 911?
Right now, if you call 911, they can send out a mobile evaluation team, but that's not enough. And so part of the dollars that are funding the outreach that I just spoke of also is funding a hotline. And through the Homeless Collaborative, there's a coordinated entry system, so these workers will be able to enter them into a database. So if they don't accept services today and another worker contacts them tomorrow, or the same worker, they're able to follow up in a known path. The collaborative has taken tremendous steps, and when a collaborative, I'm really giving these individuals a lot of kudos to create this coordinated entry system. We're helping to fund through our dollars to provide more staff onto the street, and then of course we have our service delivery system, so if they're accepting services, we can provide those services.
Right. So your efforts are being bolstered through state funds. I got to ask you, we know about the fiscal constraints the county is operating under. Would you like to see more from the county? Are they doing what they can? What's your assessment of the county's involvement in this overall collaborative effort? Anybody want to weigh in on that?
Well, I would say that we're definitely seeing behavioral health step in, and they're investing heavily in our area. And we are very grateful because that is a partner that we can't do our jobs without. I think that all levels of county have been affected by homelessness. I think the CAO's office is going to have to start considering how are we dealing with the low-income housing issue? How are we going to deal with emergency beds? And then also, how are we going to have ongoing operating for those facilities? These are all very difficult conversations that we all must have.
Yeah. Bill, I want to give you the last word before we go to break here.
Okay, I just want to say that, one of the things the county did was really bolster and support the count with the volunteers. And there were well over 100 county employees were volunteers, because they knew that count also helps draw in dollars to this community. And the county is working with the state to draw in as many dollars as they can to this community. And part of my relationship to the collaborative is to help that money get into the collaborative functions.
And isn't the key point of that was that the county, and I guess Ryan Alsop, the county administrative officer, made arrangements so that the volunteers that came from the county workforce got paid for that day, even though they were volunteering outside of the scope of their day-to-day jobs, right?
It was very helpful. The highest levels of management in the county said, this is important and we want our employees participating, and we wouldn't have had the volunteers without that kind of support.
Yeah, that's a very important point to make, huh?
It was all hands on deck, and that was great seeing the county get involved like this. And I mean, there's going to be many opportunities in days ahead for them to get involved.
Yeah. That's great. Bill Walker, I'm going to have to excuse you because soon to take your seat will be Bakersfield Mayor Karen Goh. We want to talk to her about her recent meeting with Governor Gavin Newsom and the mayors of the 13 largest cities in the state. But keep up the good work, Bill. Best of luck to you, and thank you for everything you do, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. All right. And we're back with more after the break. You're watching Kern County In Depth.
Hi, I'm John Busby. Here's what some of our customers have to say about Team Busby.
The biggest thing that we really liked about Team Busby is the fact that it wasn't a business. It was more about your family and for our needs.
When you think real estate, think Team Busby.
It's a look, a style, a way of life. Wherever you go, everything about it says luxury. And from the moment you sit behind the wheel, you'll just know and never look back. It's time for Mercedes-Benz Spring Event, where you can lease a 2019 GLA for only $379 per month now through April 1st at Mercedes-Benz of Bakersfield. So wherever the road of life may take you, make sure it's in a Mercedes-Benz. Test drive one today at Mercedes-Benz of Bakersfield and the Bakersfield Auto Mall.
At Burger King, the king is breaking out of his bun with the $1 crispy taco, filled with our signature seasoned beef, melted American cheese, crisp lettuce, and zesty taco sauce for just $1. Get your snack on with the $1 crispy taco, only at Burger King.
Short on space but need to accommodate guests for the night? Transform any room in your home into a guest room with a new sofa sleeper from Weatherby's Furniture. You'll get the best of both worlds, a stylish and comfortable sofa by day and a relaxing fold-out guest bed at night. Perfectly match any room's decor with Weatherby's wide variety of sofa sleeper styles, colors, and fabrics, available in twin, full, and queen sizes. Hurry in today and see the exciting selection of sofa sleepers now on display. Weatherby's Furniture since 1921.
Termites. Feasting on homes 24/7.
We're on the move. Roger.
Hey, Rick, all good? Oh, yeah, we're good.
We're good. Termites never stop trying to get in. We never stop working to keep them out. TERMINIX, defenders of home.
Welcome back. Bakersfield Mayor Karen Go is joining us now, fresh off a meeting between Governor Gavin Newsom and the mayors of California's 13 largest cities. Good evening to you, Mayor.
Good evening.
Thanks. I know you had three functions you had to do, and you're avoiding one to come here, and I appreciate you.
This is very important.
Yeah,
it's the paramount issue facing California cities.
Boil it all down for us. What was accomplished at that meeting with respect to tackling homelessness from the state level when you met with the governor?
We had a very productive meeting with the governor, who seemed to understand, because he was a former mayor, what mayors and cities are dealing with. So we appreciated our past funding that we received, about $500,000 there. However, sorry, that was the wrong number. 500 million
for all cities.
Yes, 500 million. But the magnitude of what we're facing is so great. So we talked to the governor about what is still out there.
And what did you say is still out there?
What's out there is a huge population that still needs to be addressed. We have some emergency shelters that we've been able to put up, but that's still insufficient. Housing is hugely missing.
Priority one?
Huge, absolutely. We talked about mental health also. You talked about that earlier, but mental health was a key element and needing to do something about that. We also talked about how to get up housing more quickly and possible CEQA reform, as they've done with the sports arenas, where they're able to expedite that process.
Expedite environmental reviews of projects, of construction projects for new housing. Yes, it would seem like CEQA doesn't belong there at all. But
one thing that really differentiates this time is that we talk more about prevention and early intervention. So rather than have people who are already housed lose their housing because they can't pay the rent, we said, why not provide funding for that area also? That way we can keep people who are already housed instead of sending them into homelessness.
And I would imagine that's not open-ended funding.
No.
But for a period of time, right?
Yes.
You also mentioned, we were talking, you have 454 people on a priority list for housing. These are people who are in the system, you know them, they've been documented, and they're waiting for housing in Bakersfield, right?
In Bakersfield. These are people who want to be housed. So we hear this myth, sometimes they just don't want help. These are people who want housing, but we have insufficient housing. So that is a huge area that we really have to figure out how to get people into housing. We talked also about motel conversion and the ability maybe to move more quickly in that area. So that was an area that the governor really took notice of.
And also, Mayor, you have talked about low barrier housing. Low barrier shelters. The translation is there, shelters with fewer rules, more leeway, more discretion in terms of what the homeless could do as residents of a shelter, right?
As we know, there are all types of people in homelessness, and some of them are willing to enter shelters, but others aren't. And in those cases, maybe having an alternate way, low barrier, where maybe they can bring their pets in. Maybe there aren't quite as many regulations, but that requires supportive services. So the way for low barrier to be successful, and the city's looking into that, is to have supportive services, wraparound services, where we can connect people in those shelters to the services that will enable them to move on.
Does that make sense to you, panel?
It does. It does. We do need something, a low barrier type model in Bakersfield. Every large city, and Bakersfield is a large city now, we do need a low barrier type model in the days ahead.
Let me switch topics here. The Citizens Oversight Committee formed to make recommendations on how new tax revenue from Measure N is spent here. We know it's a public safety measure by and large, and that the first round of money for the first fiscal year that this is in effect, which starts soon, like a week from now, $58 million we're talking. Most of it's going to go to police and fire this first year. But there's also talk of $9 million, maybe in this first round of allocations that could go to tackle the homeless problem. Are you satisfied with the recommendation so far from the Measure N Oversight Committee? Anybody want to take it?
I would say that safety and homelessness were the two major issues that pushed that measure over the mark. I believe that investment should be commensurate with the fact that that's what the community was talking about. So I would personally encourage the city to increase investment specifically for individuals that are enduring homelessness. It's going to take quite an effort by our entire city if we wish to change the reality we're facing.
And to echo what Louis said, it's a good start.
Yeah.
But I would like to see more commitment after that initial $9 million, as you mentioned, because it's going to take a lot of effort. I mean, there's a lot of effort that's being put right now, but as with this growing increase, there's more dollars need to be invested into this to start really making a dent in this homeless situation.
And this is revenue that will be regenerated year in and year out going forward. It's not going away. This isn't one-time funding. So I can see the day where once these priorities of public safety are met, that more attention will be focused perhaps on the homeless, the economic development problem. Mayor, you have the last word on this. What's your feeling on this?
We absolutely have to dedicate money to focus on homeless persons. The problem is growing throughout California, including in our community. It's not going away. So absolutely, we need to make sure that the quality of life for all residents of our community is addressed.
All right, very good. That's a good way to end it. Karen Go, Louis Gill, Jessica Jansen, Carlos Baldovinos, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for everything you're doing for the community in this respect and for many other respects. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Back with the final word after this.
I'm Alex Trebek, here to tell you about the Colonial Penn program. If you're age 50 to 85 and looking to buy life insurance on a fixed budget, remember the 3 Ps.
The 3 what?
The 3 Ps?
What are the 3 Ps?
The 3 Ps of life insurance on a fixed budget are price, price, and price. A price you can afford, a price that can't increase, and a price that fits your budget.
I'm 54 and I was a smoker, but quit. Alex, what's my price?
You can get coverage for $9.95 a month.
I'm 65, retired, and take medications. What's my price?
Also, $9.95 a month.
I just turned 80 and I'm on a fixed income. What's my price?
$9.95 a month for you, too. If you're age 50 to 85, call now about the #1 most popular whole life insurance plan, available through the Colonial Penn program. It has an affordable rate starting at $9.95 a month. That's less than 35 cents a day. You cannot be turned down because of your health. No medical exam. No health questions. Your acceptance is guaranteed. And this plan has a guaranteed lifetime rate lock, so your rate can never go up for any reason. Options start at $9.95 a month. Plus, you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So call now for free information. And you'll also get this free beneficiary planner. Use this valuable guide to record your important information and give helpful direction to your loved ones with your final wishes. And it's yours free, just for calling. So call now.
Call 1-800-290-3311 for free information and your free gift. That's 1-800-290-3311. 1-800-290-3311. That's 1-800-290-3311. So call now.
Next weekend on Kern County In Depth, behind the scenes of the new film Oildale on the night of its big premiere. That's our program for this weekend. For all of us here at 17 News, I'm Jim Scott. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend.